Hello guys, it's Fearless here. In this video I'll talk about the map that I've been working on for the past few weeks. I don't know if you guys know about the map called Defeat the Waves from Settlers 4. So this map is basically it, but in Settlers 3. I made it using Cybot's scripting tool, and I think it turned out to be quite nice. So in this video, first I'll show you how you can play it yourself, and then we'll go into the game and I'll show you what it's all about in the game. So you open it by just opening normal lobby via new server. Currently the map is not in the map base, so I'll link it in the Discord post, but then it should shortly be uploaded, so you don't have to download manually. The map is called Defend the Oasis. Off we go. Now, first thing that you need to do is you need to configure the teams. You need 3 teams. The first 2 will need 4 players, and the last one is just 1 player. That last team is for spectating purposes, so you don't. You can basically have a spectator, and that doesn't play but watches the game. Currently, I don't have a spectator, so I'll just close it. The second team will all have to be CPU. They all have to be AI. If they're not, the game will be lost from the very beginning. Player 4 also has to be a CPU. This is the player that will be defending. And the 2 remaining spots, obviously other than the host, will be the real human players. Currently I don't have anyone to play with. I will not play, so I'll just put a CPU in. And now let's go to the positioning, the players on the map. It's a very important part. Please maybe take a screenshot when I'm done and make sure you mirror it in the game, because otherwise something wrong might happen. So the first player, the host, the player number 1 should go in this spot in the top left side of the Oasis. The player 2 goes in the bottom, and the player 3 goes in the top right. These are all the human players. And then the 4th player goes in the middle. This is the player that you will be defending. Now, all of the enemies go into the bottom, starting from left, and it's very important. Player 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you have a spectator, he goes in the top right. Now, another thing you have to do is you make sure you change the script. You choose this option for Defend the Oasis map. This menu will appear only after you've chosen the map. So you first choose the map and then you choose the script. I have it already chosen, so I'll just do this. There's only one option. There's a show description here. You can read it. It's basically describing what the map is about. And once you have chosen the script, make sure, and it's also very important, that you don't have peacetime on. If there is peacetime level 2 or any peacetime, the enemy soldiers that appear and attack you, they will not fight on your land, obviously, because even though they are level 2, the PC it didn't progress to level 2 as normally, so it won't be able to attack you. Now, when I was designing the map, I had a certain race composition in mind. You can experiment on your own, but at the beginning, I suggest you sort of mirror what I'm doing. So the player number 1, I think he should play Romans, because he has the most stone of all of the other races. Player 2 at the bottom should play Asians, because he's the only guy that has swamp in the spot. And the player 3 should play Amazons, because he has sulfur and gems in the mountain. But his stone is also quite scarce, and I think Amazons are quite important on this map. And I'll show you later once we get into the game. Now the player 4 is I don't think that it matters, but he maybe should be Asians. I don't know. Now, in team 2, all of the players have to be Egyptians, and it's very important because they received combat power from gems. And if they're other race, then they won't have any combat power, basically. So I think that's it here, and we can jump into the game. This is how the map looks in game. First thing that you should pay attention to is this part in the north. This is where you choose your difficulty level. You can see there are 9 soldiers here and 1 on the right. There are 10 difficulty levels in the game. The default one is difficulty level 1, that there's already 1 soldiers in the circle. Now, depending on what level you want to play, you move that number of soldiers into the circle on the right. I'll move 3, and I'll choose the level 4. Another thing, pay attention to the messages that appear in the chat. They're instructions on what's happening, and also instructions what you can do, or what you should do. Okay, make sure they're all in the circle. Now you wait, you have time until minute 2 in game to choose your difficulty. After that time it will be locked and you won't be able to change it. Obviously the difficulty level 1 is the easiest one and gradually gets more and more difficult up to level 10. Please keep in mind they're not optimized yet, they're not balanced. I think the last levels are impossible to do, even with three very, very good players. But thanks to your feedback and thanks to the replays, if you send them, I will be able to rebalance the whole thing and maybe make it more fair. Currently, I think even weaker players should be able to complete level 1, but maybe from level like 4 or 5, the game is really, really difficult. You get a pop-up, you have 20 seconds left to change the difficulty. Let's wait until we hit that 2-minute mark. And here's the message that the difficulty is locked. You wait a few seconds and then you get confirmation which level you chose. You can see we chose level 4 because there are 4 soldiers in the circle on the right. Now you can do anything with those soldiers. You can have the Asians call them to defend the early waves. Sometimes it might be necessary. Now another important part on the map are these 3 spots. There's one in the north, there's one in the east, and there's one in the west. These are what I call them drop spots, or they're the spots where certain events happen. To be precise, there are 10 events that will happen throughout the game. I think, if I remember correctly, they start at minute 10 and then they go every 10 minutes. And these are basically drops. You receive random resources, not actually random. I made sure to put, for example, at the beginning of the game, you will receive planks, tools, everything that you need for development, and then the later the game goes, you will receive more food, more weapons, and whatnot. You will know when the materials will spawn by reading the messages in the chat. Please keep in mind that these spots are frequently patrolled by enemy soldiers. As you can see here, there's one swordman already attacking these priests. There should be one coming to this one as well. So you won't be able to take them for free very often, unless you're very, very fast, but sometimes you'll have to sacrifice some of your soldiers in order to get the goods that spawn there. I think it's worth it because they speed up your development significantly. Another thing to remember about those drops is that once you get the message about them spawning, you have 5 minutes to pick them up. After 5 minutes, they disappear if you don't manage to snatch them for yourself. Another gimmick about these little spots is that I made it so you cannot take them with pioneers. So for example, if you have Amazons here, he cannot simply go there, take the land, and call the resources when they spawn. He can send a priest there, he can send spies there, you can send soldiers there, but you cannot send pioneers there. So you have to... it made it so you have to invest more of your attention into getting those. So the main objective of the whole game is to defend this tower for 90 minutes. You can lose your towers by but the game still will not be lost if this tower is alive. However, keep in mind that when you lose your towers, you cannot build or move your soldiers. So make sure that that doesn't happen. The waves of enemies will come from 4 different directions. So they will come from north, northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. They can come from all of those directions or just 2 at a time. You will know from which directions the next wave is coming from by reading the pop-up messages in the chat. With time, obviously at the beginning the waves will be quite weak. You should be able to deal with them with your starting soldiers, but with time they will be more and more difficult. The soldiers attacking you will have higher level, starting from level 1 to level 3 and until level 2, and then eventually level 3 soldiers will come, and they will also gradually receive more and more combat power. At the very end, the last waves should have around 150 combat power, regardless of the level that you chose. So the level is only connected with the number of soldiers that are attacking you, not the combat power that the enemies receive. Another interesting part of this map is that there's no fish in the sea. The only fish that you have on the map are these fish in the middle. And that's why I think the Amazons are quite crucial, because they're the only way that you can use those fish for yourself. I think in order to feed all of the mines that Amazons have, the gem mine, you need 1 pile, like the entire pile, and then some. Everything else you can donate to your allies to speed their development. No, I think that's it, what I wanted to show you in this video. Obviously, you can discover the whole map by yourself. I'll just mention that the mountains are not inside of the oasis, they're sort of farther away, so they're less accessible, and there might be enemy soldiers attacking them, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Also, another thing, and the last thing I'd like to add in this video is that please leave your feedback after you play the game, and please send me your replay via direct message on Discord channel. I will use those replays to rebalance the map later on, so that the first few levels are suitable for newer players, and then the last levels are only for the top stronger players. Currently, I'm not really sure how it works because we haven't really tested it, but with time, I'm sure we'll get to a sweet spot. Right, thank you guys for watching, and have fun playing the map. See you.